We welcome you all to this knowledge sharing solar workshop specifically designed for architects, interiors, end users, owners of individual buildings and commercial spaces. So meantime, we'll wait for a few more minutes till everybody joins. Till then, we would request you to introduce yourself with your name and profession in the chat box, and any one specific reason for doing this workshop. Yeah, we have 11 participants joined. Thank you. So, and also I would request participants, members to please type your name or rename your name from your mobile phone name or your other email IDs. Kindly put your first name. Good afternoon, Mr. Giridharan. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Mr. Kailash. You're from Stylus Gifts and would like to know about solar business and to start a business in Chennai. Great. Good to hear. I would request all other participants to kindly rename yourself because the Zoom ID is showing a few numbers, and it also becomes easy to interact with all the participants over here.
Good afternoon, Jinendra bhai. Hello.
Good afternoon, Kailash ji. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining. I'll just check my inbox for 1 minute. If anybody has any difficulty in joining, we have shifted from the Google Meet to Zoom. So we have Mr. Muthu from Delta Power. Okay, just to know about solar business. Okay, we are already into solar business, Mr. Muthu. Welcome, Mr. Muthu. We have Mr. Giridhar from Chennai, retired from Foundry Industry as electrical head. Now associated with solar energy and renewable energy. Great, sir. Okay, nice to hear that you're from leading industry and then you have retired and passionate about solar energy. My voice is audible, right? It's clear, right? Any disturbance in my voice? Can you just...
No, it's perfect.
Perfect?
Yeah.
Thank you. I would request other participants, Mr. Srinath, Mr. Shyam Sundar, Mr. Bharat Pafna, Mr. Frank, Nandini Electronics, Mr. Shivkumar to introduce. Srinath is from Delta Soul Star Power Projects. Welcome, Mr. Srinath.
Sir, audio distortion is there. Audio
Sorry?
distortion in audio.
Okay, there's a distortion in audio. Okay.
Yeah,
1 minute.
distortion.
Now, sir?
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Fine, fine. And somebody's mic was on, so that was a distortion. I have switched off that mic. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. Mr. Frank is from Chennai. He is into telecom, support and bus interest in solar. Okay. But specifically today's topic or the session what we are going to have would be more of a knowledge sharing platform. We would be talking about the government policies specific to Chennai or Tamil Nadu, and then we'll also be talking about what kind of plan should be installed for your premises or for your building, or what kind of technology to be advised to any clients of yours, what should be done in planning stage, so that we could talk about the solar readiness for that project. Let's say if you're building a house, if you're building a commercial spaces, so we plan the civils part, we plan the interiors part, everything is planned, right? So similarly, solar is also a equally good investment for lifelong. So we need to plan in advance for the solar plan. We have to plan for your mechanical stuff, civil stuff, electrical wiring, DC wiring, location planning on your terrace for the solar panels. So all these things have to be provided. So we would be having a general discussion on this, so that it becomes easy to communicate to your clients, or you can apply the same knowledge for your own projects, for your own building premises. So the time is now around 3:05. I think we should start. Mr. Bharat Bapna is from Textile and Garment Business from Chennai. Welcome, Mr. Bharatji. Wanted to know about solar for his house construction. So hope this session would be useful to you. And solar could be planned at any stage of your residence. If in an existing house, you can plan. If it's a new construction, at the starting stage, let the civil has just started, you can plan with your architect team, so that your building is ready for solar in the future. So I would request all the participants to be throughout the presentation, because we'll be talking about different aspects in solar itself. We'll be talking about 3 specific technologies which is applied to most of the buildings. Fine, so let's start. So we welcome all the participants on this solar workshop. This would be around 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes program with a break in between, and we'll be talking on specifically how could we make our building green. So with a small introduction about our company, about myself, I'm Jitendra Bagmar here. I'm from Creative Eco Solutions. We have a 9 years experience in solar industry. And we have trained around 950 plus participants during last lockdown and this lockdown, and we would like to touch around 2000, which is our mission. And with an installation experience of 1000 plus solar rooftop plants, water heaters, and also we deal in power backup solutions with lithium battery. And we cater to almost majority of the dealers across Tamil Nadu. And myself have an experience of 12 years in solar industry and an engineering from electrical electronics background. So, everybody is aware how safe is that our family breathes, right? So if you talk about in India, 70% of the power we still generate from coal, which is the thermal power plant. And this plants run 365 years throughout the year. And this past cannot be changed. The future is yet in your power, right? We can't change the past, so the future is with us. And we all aware about Delhi. If you go to Delhi for 2 days, 3 days business trip, and if you travel to car or on the roadsides, definitely people from Chennai or Chennai would get infected by colds or asthma, other breathing diseases. And in Delhi, if you see, because of the pollution from the thermal plants nearby, so and most of them use an oxygen cylinder or a mask to breathe in fresh air. So the choice is ours. Should we migrate now or later? The choice is ours. So with respect to solar plant, a simple example is a 10 kilowatt solar plant would occupy around 1,000 square feet on your terrace, but this would save around 2,000 tons of greenhouse gas in 25 years. So that's a big impact, and this is equivalent to like saving such 40 big trees in our environment. So that's the green impact which solar carries, and we all should, as much as possible, should contribute to the environment so that we live a beautiful environment for our upcoming generations. So let me clear a few myths on solar. And most of the feel that solar is expensive, whether the technology will work. There are long government approvals for a solar plant. It could not be feasible for my existing building. Maybe a high maintenance cost. It doesn't run my ACs. These are the few myths on solar which came on my mind. So basically, solar is not expensive. It has a proven payback story of around less than 5 years for on-grid power plants. And yes, the technology works very well. This technology started around 60 years back when all the satellites from NASA or from ISRO were powered by solar panels in the morning, and in the evening, battery charge from solar panels. So this is a very old technology, but it has become affordable now to all of us with a good payback story. And with respect to government approvals, everything has become online now. So if you apply for a TNEB net metering, it's an online application, and our papers gets approved in 2 to 3 months time, and we get the net meter installed. And that's it. Most of the solar plants are done on the existing building. 80 to 85% of the solar plants are done on existing buildings, which could be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years old buildings. And we can plant solar for that building. And absolutely, there is least maintenance cost. The cost of the maintenance is much lesser than washing your car. Right? So it's like cleaning the solar panels once in 2 months with water. It could run any load. If you talk about 10 AC, if you talk about 1.5 AC, 2 AC, yes, it can run your air conditioners too. So we have discussed on this. With respect to India, India is a country where we have 300 days of clear sunlight, which is absolutely free of cost. And solar panels are easily installable at any point of the time. And it asks for the least maintenance. Now, coming to the technology we are talking about, we'll talk on these two technologies. One is the PV photovoltaic, which is the electricity, and one is the water heating system. And in electricity, we have again two technologies, what we say an off-grid and on-grid. To make it simple, solar panels with battery is called off-grid. Solar panels with storage, it is known as off-grid, and solar panels without battery or with the net metering concept, it's called as on-grid. Okay, quickly come back to the fundamentals of solar. Remember this rule: a 1 kilowatt solar produces an average of around 4.5 units per kilowatt. 4.5 units per kilowatt. It needs around 100 square feet shadow-free area south-facing. 100 square feet shadow-free area south-facing, and the net meter records the exported excess solar power, which is supplied by TNEB, and we pay around 8 rupees 50 paisa for all our commercial offices to TNEB per unit consumed, 8 rupees 50 paisa. And then the solar panel comes with 25 years performance warranty. So with respect to radiations which falls on your terrace or on your solar panels, basically divided into three. One is the direct light, one is the scattered light, and one is the reflected light. So almost all the solar panel manufacturers give you a 25 years performance warranty, which talks about 10 years warranty against manufacturing defects, and next 15 years they talk about 20% output degradation, which means, let's say if I have a 100-watt panel, solar panel, after 25 years, that 100-watt would work at 80 watts output, which means there's an efficiency drop of less than 1% every year in the next 25 years, but still these panels are usable. So when we talk about the service life, the expected life, this is as good as more than 40 years and as good as life of your building. So how many of us use inverter at home? Can you quickly type in the chat box, inverter at home or at your office? Yes, many years, few knows. Yes, most of them as use inverter for power backup. So during power cuts, we use inverters, and that works only during a power cut. And again, it gets charged from the battery, right? So inverter is also a load like an air conditioner or a TV, which consumes electricity, right? Now let's take a scenario of a 10-member 5 BHK house or a similar office. So typically we have your layouts like this with the furniture layouts, and this layouts will also have your typical loads like how many fans. So let's say a 5 BHK would have around 8 fans, 24 LED lights, 2 LED TVs, 1 Wi-Fi, 2 PC or laptops, 4 to 6 mobile charging points, a 4-channel DVR, a double door fridge, 2 to 4 ACs, split ACs, a mixie, grinder, and other appliances, a washing machine. So this is a typical load what a house has. Now, what we could do is, let's say if I want to run this load on solar, right? What should I do? Which all the loads can I run? So first you have to identify how many members in the home. Let's say it could be based on your 2 to 5 BHK house, you could be having 4 members or 10 members based on that. And then we have to identify your daytime load, like how many lights, fans, or ACs I'm going to use in the daytime. That is most important because solar energy is harvested in the sunlight time, right? Which is approximately from 7 o'clock to evening 5:30 p.m. So you have to utilize that energy maximum to your daytime load. And then you have to check, are there any power cuts in my area? If yes, then how many hours I have a power cut. Typically, if you are in a prime area, you'll be having maximum 1 to 2 hours power cut. Or if you're in a remote area, you could have around 6 hours power cut. Places like ECR, OMR, which are remote areas, then you would have 5 to 6 hours power cut. And then identify how much terrace area you have. The terrace area has to be a shadow-free area, south facing, so that you don't have shadows from the neighboring buildings. Then you have to study your AB bill. Let's say I'm staying in my existing house or existing office. I have to check my AB card. The AB card will show you the units, how much you're consuming per month or bi-monthly in 60 days. So you have to identify that AB units consumed per day. Let's say if it's a monthly billing, let's say I have 1,000 units divided by 30. Or let's say I have 3,000 units in 2 months bill, then 3,000 divided by 60. Or if it's in the case of an office, you could say number of working days. So you have to identify your AB units, which is available from your AB cards. Fine. Now how do I adapt this load to an off-grid solar technology? And off-grid solar technology, it's a simple example of an extended version of an inverter battery system at your office. You have an inverter battery, which would power your fan, lights, PCs, Wi-Fi, right? And this works during power cut. Now, this is an advanced version where this is powered by a solar panel, right? So whatever the load is connected to this inverter, let's say you identify 10 fans or based on your 5 BHK, 4 BHK pattern, you identify that load. Now this load, which will be running in the daytime or which is the absolute necessity, I have to run on my solar inverter and battery. Now, how this function is, whether the grid is available or not, whether the power is available or not, the connected load, the fan, lights, AC is connected to the inverter, will run on solar by default. So the solar panels will harvest the sunlight, converts that into electricity, and it will power your load. And it also, the excess power also gets charged in the battery. Fine. So during the daytime, all your loads will be running on the solar power, and you will be saving on your EV cost on a daily basis. In case if there's a power cut in the evening time, let's say post sunset, what happens? You don't have any solar power available. So the battery will give you a power backup like an inverter. So the whatever power stored in the battery will act as a power backup, right? So this is how it works. And if the power cut is in the daytime, what happens? Your solar panel is available, so your solar panel will harvest sunlight if sunlight is available, and then it will power you all your connected load. So this works automatically. So by default, in the morning time, the solar inverter is programmed in such a way that by default the load is running on the solar panels, and then it changes to EV automatically in the evening time after 5:30 or 6 p.m. and post evening it runs entirely on your electricity EV. And if there's a power cut in the evening or in the midnight, your battery comes in the picture, your battery starts running your load. So you'll not have a power cut at all. And in the morning, again, in the next day morning, when sunlight is available, it starts running on solar panel. So this, everything is automatic. There's no manual changeover, nothing. So it works uninterruptedly. Even you can run a PC and which will not reboot. So to calculate, list down all the appliances to be running on the solar electricity in the daytime. Note down the electrical wattage of each appliance. Estimate the number of hours I'm going to use this appliance daily. Let's say I could calculate that my fan is going to run 10 hours in the daytime. My lights are going to run only 2 hours. My PCs are going to run 6 hours. So based on the feedback from the clients, we'll be able to write all these things, and then we can calculate the total load. So this is a simple example. I made it very simple. Fan, lights, TV, fridge. What is the power wattage? What is the quantity? And based on that, I could arrive that it will require around 4,170 watt hour, which is equal to 4.1 units, 4.1 units, which I will take from EB to run all these appliances for so many hours. So based on the sheet, I'll be able to size the solar panel. Like you'll be requiring so much of size based on the technology we are opting for. So in our case, the total power is only 480 watts, but when I use it 5 hours, 6 hours in the daytime, it becomes 4170 watt hours, which is 4.17 units. Right. So to power this, I would require around somewhere around, let's say around 1.5 to 2 kilowatt solar panels. Now, one specific point I would like to mention over here is, in case if there is a new technology available, which I mean to say, let's say we have migrated from incandescent to CFL to LEDs now, right? So like earlier we had 50 watts tube light, now we have only 20 watt LEDs. So that's a technological shift in the lighting industry. Then we have fans. The normal induction motor fans now have shifted to BLDC fans, brushless DC motor fans, which consumes only 1/3. Your normal fan consumes around 70 to let's say 80 watts, and now we have BLDC fans with the same performance same performance, and it consumes only 30 to 35 watts. So if I consume my load at the load level, then it becomes that I'll be using less energy, and my dependency on solar panels will be less, which means I can downsize my solar panels, right? So that's an added advantage. Similarly, you can opt for an inverter AC, inverter fridge, inverter washing machines. These are DC motor-based technology. So whenever you buy appliances next time, check for an inverter AC or an inverter fan. And obviously in lighting, we don't have an option now. We have only LEDs available in the market. So now based on the load, what we have shown, you may have different loads for your different requirements. If you see the load table over here, we have options of 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt and 3 kilowatt. So typically based on your number of fan, lights and appliances, you have to decide which kilowatt you have to go. So typically the pricing starts from 73,000 to 2.2 lakhs. Based on the size of the house, you can design 1, 2, 3 kilowatt. Basically, this will run your fan, lights, mixie, grinder, fridge till 3 kilowatt. And let's say, no, I have a bigger house, I have a bigger villa, I would like to run my ACs also. Then you can go with a 10 kilowatt system where you can align two numbers of 1.5 ton ACs and almost all the fans, all the lights, all the TVs, PCs, Wi-Fi, appliances on for your residence. For example, if a client is having a farmhouse or an individual villa and is planning for an generator as a backup during power cuts, so he should be spending somewhere around close around 15 to 20 kVA diesel generator. We would advise you can also look for an option in solar. Let's say if we give you a 10 kilowatt solar plant with a battery system, what happens throughout the year for the next 25 years, your load will be running on the solar panels. So that's a huge quantum of energy saving and also electricity bills, right? And then during the power cut, all my light, fans, Wi-Fi, TV runs, and also have option of running two numbers or 3 numbers of ACs. It could be inverter ACs, then you can run 3 numbers. So you have a huge option of load application. So I could avoid my diesel generator. So we all know what are the disadvantages of having a diesel generator. Like you have to maintain the diesel generator, you have to do a regular AMC. We have to use at least once in a month. You have to store kerosene or petrol or diesel at your premises. Somebody has to fill, somebody has to take care. A lot of maintenance comes into that. And it could be automatic or it could be manual. So when you install a 10 kilowatt solar with battery based system, everything is automatic, right? So it gives you a big convenience for bigger projects. Now we were talking about solar system with lead acid battery. Now in last 2 years, you have seen this lithium ion battery, which has come one of the which will be the next revolutionary change in the storage technology. Now, lithium batteries are more efficient, more compact, and it will be substituting all our batteries in the upcoming future. So the major advantages of lithium storage batteries are zero maintenance. There is no distilled water to be filled once in 4 months. There is no acid inside, so there is no headache of leakage. And these are 35% more efficient. Which means, let's say I'm planning for an 100Ah battery in lead acid, I could plan for around 65Ah lithium battery in terms of 30%, 35% more efficient. So I can downsize my battery capacity. And the third thing is very compact, 1/3 the size. So it could be accommodated in a very small corner of your house near your, and it looks elegant also. Less weight compared to lead acid battery. These are 1/3 in weight, 10 to 20 kgs, 30 kgs max, whereas the lead acid batteries are around 60 to 70 kgs. The service life of this lithium batteries are around 10 to 12 years. If your usage is that, it could also go till 15 years, right? And there is no maintenance over here. So 10 to 12 years without replacing your battery. So that is the technology. Whereas a lead acid battery, you have to, if I give you a solar battery with a 5 years warranty on the solar battery has to be lead acid category. It has to be changed once in 6 years, typically. And this would be around like 12 years, there is no change in the battery. And what happens after 12 years in lithium batteries? So the battery will work, but your backup will come down. So during at the end of 12 years, if you are sufficient with your backup, then you can continue with your battery till 15 years. And there is no deep discharge. It could retain the power, which means, let's say I'm not using the battery for 2 months, 3 months. I'm out of station. I've shifted my work location. So even if I don't use the power for 4-5 months, the battery will not deep discharge, right? So most of us in lockdown, we have not used our cars, right? Or 2-wheelers. So what happens to that lead acid battery? It goes into deep discharge. If you don't use it for 1 week or 2 weeks, what happens? It goes to the deep discharge and you are not able to start your cars. say you need a cranking of this battery, or you have to do a boost charging. So you go to your nearest mechanic shop or battery charger shop and you do a boost charging. In case of lithium, this inconvenience can be completely avoided. And because of these parameters, no doubt, all our e-vehicle industries, because of the lithium battery, have catch big time. So we have seen on different applications how we have to size your fan, lights, TVs based on the kilowatt rating, right? Now, with respect to the terrace area, as I mentioned in the starting, to install 1 kilowatt solar panels on a terrace, you need some space of around 100 square feet. Now, thanks to the technology, there's a new technology in the industry called mono-PERC. Now, what happened because of this technology, the panels are more efficient, and in the same size, we are getting around 40% more output, which means in a panel of around 2 meters into 1 meter, 2 meters is the length, 1 meter is the width, right? Earlier, we used to get only 325 watt peak or 330 watt peak panel. Now, in the same size, we are able to achieve 440 watt peak, which means from 100 square feet, if I use this mono-PERC technology, I could come to 60 square feet. So either I can utilize less terrace area, or I can maximize my solar plant size based on my load utility, right? So if you're planning, then plan for mono-PERC technology, which is the next highly efficient panels in solar industries. And then with respect to the installation of solar panels on your terrace, we have 4 to 5 different applications over here. If you see the temple on the right, the solar panels are installed on the terrace area, on the terrace level, which means I have occupied my terrace. Yes, because this is a temple area, or this is my terrace is not utilized for any reason. Let's say a school, colleges, factories, we never utilize our terrace. So the solar panels would be aptly placed on the terrace area. So the panels are covered, the terrace is covered with the solar panels, right? If you see on the left side, this is a customized solution where the client already had pillars on the terrace, right? Pillars on the terrace. So we have built a GI sheet on the GI sheet structure on the columns, existing columns, and then on that we have installed the solar panels. So the client got two purpose. One, he got a shaded area, shaded waterproof area below the shed, below the solar panels, and we have not occupied any of his terrace area. And then the simple wiring. If you see the third quadrant on the left bottom, instead of keeping the solar panels at the floor level, we have elevated around 8 feet to 10 feet height. Obvious reason is, yes, your area is utilized, that can be used as but we have not used a shed or tin sheet. The panels are just kept on the fabrication work. So while doing this, you have the entire terrace for utility. You can have pantry over there, or you can walk, or you can do your yoga classes over there. So you utilize your terrace area efficiently. And then we have the shed, industrial sheds. So on that industrial sheds, you can install the solar panels. So you have different mounting structures available in the market for different installation purposes. Like in this specific hospital in Egmore, we have elevated till 13 feet height, because hospital is a commercial space. They would like to expand in the future. Maybe they could create cabins over here, or a pantry for the staff, or any other meeting room. So we have elevated at 13 feet height with a superstructure, and now they can do their interiors inside it. This is one classic example of Kola Saraswati School, where we have elevated and also have given the fencing all around. So this specific terrace of 3,000 square feet is completely utilized as a place to do their prayers, or to do the karate classes, or it's like more of an indoor multi-purpose hall. They can also play table tennis. So everything is covered by a mesh with the lock and key, or with all safety considerations. So this is how we can utilize this terrace area and also harvest sunlight to save electricity. So when we plan for a solar plant, we have to make some provisions, right? So these provisions are, you have to plan for your space for your inverter and battery. This space have to be near the solar panels. So solar panels obviously will be occupying your terrace area. Either we have a staircase room or a lift room, or near the lift room, we have a provision to keep this inverters and battery. If this is a new site, so you can plan for a small room nearby it. Otherwise, if an existing house, you can plan under your staircase at the ground floor or at the headroom in the terrace level, so that your inverters batteries are visible. You can monitor your inverter and battery. Now, next thing, important thing is you have to plan the inverter load varying till inverter location. So you have identified your inverter place. Let's say it's under my staircase, right? Now I have to run a separate load varying. How you do for your inverter, right? You have to run a separate line and neutral wire to all your fan, lights, ACs, which has to be run on this inverter. In our case, this will be a solar inverter. So one cables, fine. So next would be the DC wiring from the solar panels to the inverter. From your terrace, where the solar panels are installed, from there to your inverter location under your staircase or inside your headroom. You have to plan your conduit. If it's a new, if the building is under construction, so during your flooring stage or during your main roofing, you can leave empty pipes, 1 inch, 2 empty pipes from your solar panel location to your inverter room, so that in future you can pull the wires from these pipes, and this is neatly done. In case of existing buildings, we have to chase the pipes from the walls. Right? And you have to plan your terrace area for solar panels. Now, if it's a residence, you have options like you can plan it on your lift room, headroom, or aside of the tank. So that becomes, so from your main terrace, this is lifted at a height of around 10 feet. So two options, what you have seen based on your application. Or if you have a bigger terrace, you can give a 200 to 500 square feet of your terrace area to install the solar panels, or elevate at a 10 feet height, or put it on your headroom. So this can plan at the planning stage, so that what happens, proportionate pillars can be pulled up so that the installation becomes simple and elegant, right? And you can utilize that terrace area for any other activities like a sitting layout or gardening, anything else. Remember that you will be requiring 2 dedicated earthing pits. These are the 2 pits, other than, apart from your EB earthing, apart from your lift earthing, apart from your generator earthing, right? You would require 2 earthing pits, and both are dedicated. One is for DC solar panels and one for the AC inverter, right? And if you're going for an on-grid plant, we'll be discussing on the on-grid plant in the after a few slides. In the on-grid plant, you have to plan for a 3-phase or a single-phase cable based on the inverter size you choose, whether a 3-phase inverter or a single-phase inverter. You have to plan the cables. It could be 5 cables or 7 cables based on the sizing from your terrace location, to your EB board, because in that technology you'll be going with a net metering concept. So these are the provisions to be made. So we'll talk on the tie grid technology. Okay, before starting the next session, any questions? Any questions till now? Okay, Mr. Giridhar has 2 questions. Yes, Mr. Giridhar, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Number first question is regarding this lithium ion battery. After 12 years, can it be recharged or not possible after 12 years?
Okay.
Recharge after 12 years. Any recharging facility is there, or it is only we have to use with a low rating output only?
I'll tell you. So with respect to lithium, sir, we can not recharge to 100% of the capacity. Okay, so current industry is talking that the lithium batteries after 10 years will have a life. Your 100 AH battery, let's say, becomes 60 AH battery.
Okay.
Now the 60 AH battery will be sold in the market in second hand.
Okay.
And this will be utilized for some other applications.
Okay.
So so after 2 years, the batteries are not dead. It will be having a substantial value. Either you can use it for different applications, lower size applications, or you can sell it in the market.
Okay.
Your second question, sir.
You said about the monolithic, the panels are monolithic, they used to say. That is what you mean to say? More efficient.
With respect to panels, I didn't get into inside the technology of the solar panels. We have 2 technologies. One is polycrystalline, where you can see the panels will be blue in color in variant shades, blue color. That's a polycrystalline technology. Technically, the efficiency of that panels are around 16% plus. 16% plus.
Okay.
Now the new technology is called we had the old technology called monocrystalline. Right?
Monocrystalline. Okay.
Monocrystalline, and the efficiency was around 18%. Now we have this new technology from last 2 years. It's called mono-PERC. PERC. PERC.
Oh, that's what I want to know.
These are the most efficient panels, and because of this, the size have decreased now. Let's say I can give 500 or 550 watt panel in 2.2 meters into 1 meters.
Yeah, you're doing the example. Yes.
Yes.
What about the efficiency of this?
Efficiency of mono-PERC is around 21%.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have not seen any questions in the chat box till now. If you have any other questions, you can unmute yourself and please ask.
Jitendra bhai,
Yes, Kailash.
yeah, I was asking, efficiency, like how it is, you said 21%, 18%, like how you categorize it, like.
Okay. Now all the manufacturers are talking about the panel efficiency at the factory level, right? Now, with respect to user point of view, how does it impact me? A mono-PERC panel would generate somewhere around 5 units per day per kilowatt. Let's say I install 1 kilowatt mono-PERC panel, mono-PERC technology. I'll be getting 5 units. I'll be saving 5 units on my EB bill, right? If I use a polycrystalline panel, right? If I use a polycrystalline panel, I'll be generating 4.5 units.
Okay.
Per day per kilowatt, which means like 10% less. This is efficiency in terms of user point.
Basically, mono-PERC will give more power, in fact.
Yes.
Okay.
Mono-PERC will be giving more output. Yes. So let's say, for example, my requirement is around 50 units per day. Let's say I have a commercial office. I need 50 units per day. But my limitation is, let's say I have only 600 square feet area on my terrace. So I'll be investing, if I invest on polycrystalline, I'll be generating only 45 units, point number 1. But I need a terrace area of around 800 square feet.
Okay.
Fine. But my terrace area is only 600 square feet. I need 50 units. So in that case, I'll choose for mono-PERC. I'll be generating 50 units per day, plus it will accommodate in my terrace area.
Okay.
And maybe after 2 years' time, by default, we'll have mono-PERC. Polycrystalline will be obsolete.
Oh.
Sir, one more thing, sir, doubt about it.
Yes.
Sir, substituting instead of polycrystalline to get 50 units of the square feet area from 800 to how much it will be precisely will get for 50 units?
600 square feet, sir. 600 to 650 square feet.
Okay, super, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Ramakrishnan has asked, in the elevated MS frame installation, how about rainwater ingress between panels? Okay, so when we do an elevated structure, let's say at 10 feet, 8 feet high, we have two options. Obviously, we install the solar panels and we have around 3 mm to 5 mm gap between the two solar panels, right? The whole idea of having this gap is during the cyclone, the wind would pass through these gaps, right? But obviously, during a rainfall, the water will fall through these gaps, right? So if you want a waterproof or rainproof structure, we have two options. One, we put a GI shed, right? We put a GI tin sheet and then install the solar panels on the top. This is one, which most of the clients are doing it, or most of the integrators like us are doing it. Second option, we have few manufacturers which gives a solar panel which are encrusted or embedded with the cement board. Fine. Now, and Then we have to run an aluminum profile between these two glass panels, and we have to seal with silicon. With how we do our glass cladding, right, on our facades. Right? We have two glass and we have an aluminum rail and we apply a silicon. So similarly, we can do it for solar panels. I hope this answers your question, Mr. Ramakrishnan.
No, actually,
you, sir.
below the solar panels, you used to put the glass sheet. You mean to say?
No, below the solar panels, you have this industrial shed, right, sir? Shed.
Shed, normal shed. Okay.
GI sheet. I'll run through that. 1 minute. This is the sheet. Can you see the terrace?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
these are the blue color. This is the sheet, and on that sheet we have put the solar panels.
So the rainwater will come down as usual normally.
Yes.
No problem. And
Yeah,
your
so,
glass covering.
I'll talk about the glass covering. Now, if you see in the set, we have left space between the solar panels for cleaning purpose, so that you can walk between the solar panels, clean it through a mob, and come out.
Okay.
Becomes easy for maintenance. Now, the new tech only one manufacturer does this. What he does is the glass panel is stuck to the cement board.
Cement wood.
Cement board, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a vendor called Visakha from Hyderabad. So the glass panel comes with a cement board. It solves two purposes. One, you can completely, and you can place these two cement boards next to each other, and you have to close the gap between the two panels through silicon gel, and you will be having an aluminum rail running between that, so that the panels are intact. There's no water leakage through that. Point number one. Point number two, the other advantage of this system is you can walk on the solar panels. So this becomes your real roof. You can walk on the solar panels. So there's a company called Visakha. The name of the panel is called Atom, ATUM. So instead of having shed works, you can have the solar panel. You can directly put the solar panels. The only thing is it needs a lot of installation expertise while handling this panel. So any leakage between these two will be impacting your workflow area.
Okay. Any photograph is available with you, sir, regarding this installation?
Sir, you can Google Atom, ATUM solar panels, ATUM solar panels.
Okay, sir.
Or I can also share you, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Jitendra. Thanks. I got your reply.
I have a doubt.
Can we also install this on the puff panel, right? Your solar panels can also be installed on the puff panel, right? Which is sandwich panel.
Yes, we can. It can be installed. Yes.
Okay, but the last point, what you mentioned is cleaning of the panel. That is like to be noted when we do that on the roof. So it can't be a flat roof, right? It has to have some slope, and you also need to have some space for the walking area also, correct?
Yes. Mr. Ramakrishna, I will share you that specific installation to your email ID.
Okay.
That will answer your question. That specific panel act as a shed itself, act as a roof itself. When you can walk on the panels, it gives a lot of other flexibilities.
Okay. But how about cleaning? So you walk on the solar panel and then you clean it again, right? So that is okay. Fine. You any automated cleaning technology which has come recently, like how these Adanis and all are doing for the bigger scale? Is it come to our
cleaning of solar panels, right?
Yes, cleaning of solar panels.
Yes, we have this thing, rotating robots for bigger plants. Same thing can be done for the lower capacity also, but it becomes expensive. So because our labor part will be much cheaper for smaller installation. Okay. If any plant less than what I would say installing less than 2,000 square feet area, the labor part is much economical. Cleaning the solar panel with this thing. When there's a massive plans of Adani or Sterling, which runs in
Okay.
10-20 acres, the manpower will be difficult. So you have this robot which will be rotating on automated on the solar panels left to right, and with the programming that will automatically take care.
Okay. Okay. Inside the city limits, how often do you expect to clean this panels?
Okay. I would say if the panels are not clean, if the panels accumulate a lot of dust, then there will be a drop of efficiency from 10 to 15%, right? In terms of generation. Inside the city
Okay.
limit, if the area is inside non-polluting, let's say if the residents were not much vehicle travels, I would say once in 2 months. If it is in a polluted area,
Great,
let's say
great.
industries where you have a lot of emission, then I would say once in 2 weeks or once in a month.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And there are
Clear,
tools
clear.
available like automated telescopic poles with brush with pneumatic pressurized water. So
Okay.
automatically, so you just need one guy to clean a terrace
Okay.
area for around 2,000 square feet in 20 minutes. That's all.
Great, great, great. Fine. We'll discuss further because I am
Fine.
looking a 5,000 square foot commercial building. So once your Zoom is done, then we can talk personally of that.
Fine, Setan. Okay.
Thanks.
I have a doubt.
Yes, Mr. Srinivas.
Hello. Yes, sir. So we have a battery and inverter system for the for working for functioning our electrical system when the power is off. Should we
Okay.
go for a separate one for the solar energy, or this itself will serve the purpose?
What is your size of your inverter, sir?
That is 500 Ah.
You have single battery, right?
Yeah, single battery.
Okay, in that case, you need to invest on a new inverter for smaller installations or smaller inverter capacities. We have a solar retrofit, which will have a solar retrofit device. What it will do is it will convert your existing inverter to a solar inverter. And then you can attach solar panels. Because you have a single battery, your limitation will be that you can add 300 to 400 watt solar panel, not beyond that.
You have to improve that.
Let's say you have a 500 VA
Power
inverter,
storage.
and you'll be having around approximately 3 fans, 3 lights running at a time.
Okay.
So to power that, a 300 watt panel is good enough.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes. No, that's all.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll take a break for 2 to 5 minutes or 5 minutes break, and we'll resume the next session. Meantime, just have a walk or have your tea, water, just a 5 minutes break. Don't quit the session. Let the session be on.
ఓకేనా అది 8 పాయింట్స్ అవుతుంది 10కి
So welcome back. Am I audible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have hope all 26 participants are there. Yes. So we have cleared almost all the doubts which were asked in the chat box and also online. Thank you. Okay. Now this session specifically will be talking about the on-grid technology, where most of the installations are happening on this technology. When we talk about big size plant to save substantial amount of energy, could be for a school, college, could be for factory, and also in megawatt level. This is the technology which is used. Now, obviously, when we invest on solar panels, we'll be looking for the returns, right? So this on-grid system, or also called as tight-grid solar power plant, is more of an investment option. Because electricity is something which you're going to use it for almost like till we live on Earth, we have to consume electricity day and night. So we need, so that is a direct expenses we do on a monthly basis for paying TNAB. So this could be a substantial saving if we invest on such kind of plants. Now coming to the technology, this grid tie system will not have battery. Point number one, very simple. This grid tie system will not have a battery at all. Just a minute, just a minute. Sorry for the inconvenience here. So this system will not have battery. So it synchronizes the power generated from the solar inverter with your incoming EV supply. So typically we have a single phase EV meter for small sites, and we have three phase for most of the houses, factories. Right? So, so based on your EB meter, let's say you have a three-phase EB meter, and let's say I consume a lot of power on all my three phases, then I will go with the three-phase inverters. If I consume more power only the single phase, less than 4 kilowatt, then I go with a single phase inverter. And this is a one-time investment. This can also be synchronized with your DG backup. Let's say I install a 100 kilowatt plant and for a factory, and my factory has a 200 or 300 kVA DG generator, I can synchronize. Right? I'll tell you why we talk about synchronizing here. And there is no separate load bearing. In the earlier option, whichever the fan, lights, ACs to be run, we have to run a line and neutral for all these loads. In this system, directly from your test, from the solar panels, it goes to your EB meter. No other separate wiring required inside the building. So it becomes a little easier also, as we are not disturbing any internal wiring of your building. So directly wherever your main LT panel is there, we synchronize at the load level. And then anti-aliasing is a very specific word. Now most of the clients do ask us, this solar plant will work during a power cut. The answer is no, this plant will not work during a power cut, because there is no storage option, neither a power backup option. So an on-grid system will work only when grid is available. Grid means when the EV electricity is available, the systems will work. Otherwise, it will not work. So then, what is the point of using this power plant? Like when it doesn't work during the power cut, even in the daytime. The whole idea here is these systems are designed only when the grid is available, because we have two advantages over here. One, if you're not using that power in the daytime, let's say during holidays or during your lunchtime in factories, the power can be exported out through net metering. Point one. Point two, if the system, let's say it starts working during the power cut, what happens? The sunlight is not constant. It varies from morning to evening, or even in a good peak time, let's say 12 to 1, during the peak time, in the noon time, if there's a passing cloud, there will be a dip in the electricity production from the solar plant, right? So during that time, when there is no EB, I can't run. Let's say my factory requires a 50 kVA power, and I generate 60 kVA power from solar plant. If there's a passing cloud for 1 hour or a half an hour or maybe for 10 minutes, what happens? The generation from 60 kVA comes down to 20 kVA for that 10 minutes or a half an hour's time. But my load requires that 50 kVA power, right? So that becomes insufficient. To compensate that power, I need a backup system, which could be your grid system or which could be a generator system. Let's say during power cut, my system will not work. That's the technology. That's called anti-islanding. And all the solar inverter manufacturers, on-grid inverter manufacturers have to comply with this technology called anti-islanding, which means I'm not supposed to generate electricity when there's a power cut. And one obvious reason is if there's a power cut, suppose I start exporting, let's say it's a Sunday and there's no load at my office, and I start exporting this power out during a power cut. So what happens? The maintenance people at the electricity side will have a shock hazard, which is very dangerous. So to avoid that, the TNEB has strictly said you are not supposed to export any power outside your grid during power cuts, and your system should not work. So that's the reason if you have a generator available in your premises, 2 times the capacity of the solar plant, let's say I have 100 for 50 kVA, let's say I have 150 kVA DG genset. So when I change over my genset, the entire load to the generator, I'm isolating my EB supply. And the entire load is on the generator. So I'm no way connected to my incoming EB supply. And then the genset acts as a reference power to the solar plant, and the solar inverter kicks on. So the solar inverter gets synchronized with your generator, because generator do have a reference supply power. So you can, through this mechanism, we can also save on your diesel cost. The running cost of your generator plants is diesel, so you can also save on your diesel cost. And typically we require around 100 square feet per kilowatt. And if you're using monocoque, it could come down to 60 to 70 square feet per kilowatt. The price range is less than 80,000 based on the size. Of the bigger the capacity of the plant, lesser is the price. Let's say we're talking about a 100 kilowatt plant at a single premises with a single inverter. This could cost somewhere around 45,000 to 50,000 per kilowatt based on the installation, wiring, lengths, all those things, customization. And 1 kilowatt, if you go only with 1 kilowatt, then it could touch around 80,000 per kilowatt. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can keep typing in the chat box so that I could, at the end, I could answer all your questions. So as I said, there is no separate wiring. So directly, whatever you use from the EV meter, you will be still using it. But what happens? The power which comes inside your building, the priority would be the solar power first, and the balance would be from the EV. And this is all automatic. There is no manual intervention again. Fit and forget. So if anybody is aware about the current Tamil Nadu net metering policy, the applicable net metering policy, if anybody is aware, we can share, write it in the chat box. Okay. Okay, and there was an amendment in the policy in Tamil Nadu in 2019 April. Now the new policy is the system is called net feed in. There is no more unit to unit adjustment. In the old policy, the plans which we have installed pre-April 2019, whatever I export out in the morning time, that could be adjusted in the night time or in the next 1 year of my billing cycle. So cases like typical residences where we have less daytime load, because I don't use ACs in the daytime, I'll be using only in the night time, and AC is the primary load in houses that will be paying your 70% of your bill for your air conditioner load. So in the new policy, what happened? There's no more unit to unit adjustment, because Tamil Nadu is a power surplus state, right? So because of that, TN government has decided that whatever you export out in the daytime, they will be paying us 2 rupees 8 paisa per unit. That's an average purchase cost of the solar plant. Why 2 rupees? Simple. When I invest on a solar plant, when I use it for 25 to 30 years, my purchase cost or my investment cost for the per unit is around 1.5 to 2 rupees. So they have given a rate of 2 rupees 8 paisa. So what happens? Let's say I export around 100 units out from my net meter, I'll be paid 200 rupees. So that 200 rupees will get that will be subsidized in your EB bills of that month. So you'll be getting a bill, whatever you have used apart from your solar, minus the exported units. So how this minus the exported balance will be your bill. For example, let's say I have a plant of 10 kilowatt for my office, and I'm supposed to generate 50 units per day in the daytime. Fine. So what happens? But in the daytime, I work till 9 o'clock in the office. So the load requirement between 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. I don't take it from solar. I have to take it from EB, right? And my production starts morning 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and but my office starts only at 10 a.m. So I'll not be utilizing the power from morning 7 o'clock to 10 a.m. 3 hours in the morning, right? So what happens in the morning 3 hours? I'll be exporting this power out. So out of 50 units in the daytime, what I'm generating, let's say for example, 10 units I'm exporting out in the daytime or any time during your non-peak hours in the office hours or in the early morning time. So 10 units I'm exporting out. 40 units I've used my own self. I have self-consumed 40 units, which means I've used my laptops, PCs, fan, ACs, whatever in the office. I've used 40 units, which means in that specific day, I've saved around 40 units. I have not bought from EB. I've saved 40 units, and I've exported 10 units out the same day because I was not able to use other 10 units in the non-relevant time. So the bill will be 40 units, whatever I've saved is a saved. So I'm not paying 40 into 8 rupees 50 paisa. So I've saved substantial cost. Thus, for the 10 units, what I've exported out in the daytime, I'll be getting a rebate of 2 rupees 8 paisa, which means around 20 rupees. 10 units into rupees 20 rupees. So 20 rupees will get subtracted in the bill. And after 5 p.m., let's say I'm using some till 9 p.m., I'm using 15 more, 20 more units from EB because that's a non-solar time. So if I'm using 20 more units from the EB during that time, I have to pay EB, which means I have to pay 20 units into 8 rupees 50 paisa. Somewhere around 160 rupees I have to pay. So in the morning, I have saved completely 40 units because I have my solar plant. I have used, I'm not bought from EB. But in the evening time, I have taken 20 units from the EB. I have to pay for that. So this is how the bill becomes. So let's say during the lockdown or during the holidays, 10 days holidays, 20 days holidays, if I don't use the plant at all, let's take an example of school. They don't work for 100 days. Unlike this pandemic, in the normal days, they don't work for 100 days out of 365 days. So the entire 100 days power is exported out and you get a rebate of around 2 rupees in your bill. And one good thing is, in the 2019 policy, all the types of net LT meters till 112 kilowatt sanction load, except big factories, all till 112 kilowatt sanction load, you are eligible for net metering, which means you can export the excess power if any. So for factories, we don't have net metering policy. Let's say for factory, any factory typically will have around 200,000 or 2,000 kVA load. We don't have an export policy in Tamil Nadu. Other states we do have. So in factories, what happens? They have to self-consume. So in factories, you are not supposed to sell the power out. So whatever you have to generate, you have to self-consume. The second tool of CMDA regulations on solar. So the Housing and Urban Development Department issued a GO, which was in April 2016. Yes, in 2016, that to obtain a completion certificate for any building which is G+4 or a multi-storied building above G+4, 1/3 of the terrace space area should be on solar. Let's say I'm building a commercial or even a residence which is G+4, or it could be an apartment. So most of the builders most of the builders consider G+4, G+10, G+20. So those terrace should have compulsory 30% on solar, which means let's say I have a terrace area of around 2,000 square feet. So I have to plan 30% of solar, somewhere around 600 square feet area I have to dedicate for solar. So these drawings are given at the approval stage to the CMDA. Then you get your approval. Then you construct your building, you install your lift solar plant, and when they come for inspection, when the AE comes for the inspection for the completion certificate, he will look for the solar panels on the terrace. And these solar panels for a building like this for builders, it will be connected to your common area load, because you will have multiple owners in apartments, which will not be given to any one specific owner. So that will be connected to your common area loads, and your common area bills will come down, which will directly benefit all the apartment owners, because they'll be sharing the common area EB bills. In the common area EB bills, you'll be having your lights, and lights, you'll be having your motors, you'll be having your office, clubhouse, all those areas will be covered. So this is a specific rule. G+4 building should have 1/3 terrace on solar. Again, quickly, what we studied is 4.5 units per kilowatt. Net meter is required to record whatever you have exported out. And we have 25 years warranty on the solar panels. Okay, I'll quickly have a look at the chat box for any questions. There's a question from a participant, Shivani ma'am. For a hospital building, how is solar energy utilized? Is it feasible? Because hospital will have a lot of power demand due to excessive use of electrical devices, and also hospital is 24/7 building. Will the solar energy utilized for heavy power equipments? Okay, that's the question by Shivani ma'am. I'll answer to that, ma'am. What is the limit of power to export? Okay, what is the limitation in exporting? Okay. Fine. With respect to the hospital question, yes, most of the commercial building could be a mall, or could be a hospital, or could be a school, could be a small scale factory or a big scale factory. The limitation will be the terrace area. Let's say my requirement is 100 kilowatt of power. 100 kilowatt solar panels I have to install, but my terrace area would not be that high. The reason is we have this multi-floor buildings at G+5, G+6. So every floor is a load, and you'll have all kind of equipments. So we have done a hospital. The client is Mohan Rao Hospital in Egmore on Punamali High Road, where we have installed an 18 kilowatt plant. Their total requirement was around 60 kilowatt, 60. It's basement, ground, first, second, third, and then the terrace. But by installing an 18 kilowatt plant, because of the terrace area, we were able to save around 30% of their electricity bills. So the investment has come down because of your space limitation. So based on the terrace area, we'll advise the size of the plant. Let's say you require a 100 kilowatt plant, but your terrace area allows only 20 kilowatt plant, then it would be advisable to go for 20 kilowatt plant. And the balance you have to buy from EB, and you'll be saving 20% because you have planned for 20 kilowatt because of your terrace limitations. And most of the hospitals have a huge power requirement. So there is no possibility of export at all, because we are undersizing the plant because of the terrace area limitation, point one, and it runs 24/7. No rest to the hospital, no holidays for the hospital. So there is no requirement of net meter over there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
We'll also look on the payback. In the next slides, we'll be talking about the payback story, whether it's worth doing such a big investment. Mr. Frank has asked, who should apply for the net metering, the consumer or the solar installer? Okay, both options are available. It's an online application now. So you have on your Tangentco website, you have the net metering login. You can directly apply, or you can tell your installer to apply. So typically when we do installations for our clients, we do the solar net metering part also because of the expertise. And also we have to follow up with the local AEs because we have done around 400 net metering installations in Chennai. So we know the respective authorities and we can get the work faster. And for applying net metering, we'll be requiring documents from the client. The documents would be like your Aadhaar card, your property tax receipt, your photo of the owner of the building. So based on these documents, agreements, we will be preparing a stamp paper agreement, which is called a net metering agreement between the owner of the house or owner of the EB meter and Tangentco. So that will be a power purchase agreement, which means the owner will be producing power, exporting it to TNB. TNB will be buying this power and compensating in the electricity bills. This is one. With respect to limitation, let's say I don't have a limitation on my terrace area. Can I install more number of panels than my requirement? The answer is no. The TNB has said that let's say my sanction load is 5 kilowatt, then I can install only 5 kilowatt solar panels. I can't install more. So that's the limitation. Because remember, Tamil Nadu is a surplus energy state. So TNB have confined some limitations for solar. So the best idea is, let's say I have a huge requirement, or whatever is my daytime requirement, I'll install for that from a consumer's point of view. Okay, Mr. Srinivasan, I don't understand the AB billing system. I'll be talking on the AB bills, sir. I'll share you a live bill, and I'll definitely help you in finding out how do you understand your AB bills. So I've answered most of the questions, except one, the difference between the solar inverter and the normal inverter at the end. I'll do it at the end, sir.
Sir, my question is,
Yes.
in the EB billing, you said in terms of pricing, that is what is credited to the EB, we are paid 2 rupees per unit.
Yes.
So is it not like this? Supposing we are consuming 40 units and 50 units in a day, and exporting to EB 20 units, is it not that we will be charged per 30 units?
Okay.
Is it like this, or in terms of
what you say is absolutely right. That policy was before 2019 April. So in my house, or for most of my clients who have installed before, they are falling under the old policy. It's a unit to unit adjustment. And clients who have installed post 2019, they will fall under the new policy, which is called net feed-in policy.
this is called, the present one is net metering, yeah?
Net feed-in.
Net feed-in.
So whatever you export, you will be getting 2 rupees other than your usage. So what will be wiser is, instead of exporting, I would install a plant which will be confined to my usage. Let's say my requirement is only 40 kilowatt. Let's say my example. Let's say I have a building which runs from morning 9 o'clock to 9 to 9, right? 9 to 9. Let's say I have a requirement of 100 units from 9 to 9, which I'm going to pay to EB. Now, in the current policy, obviously, I'll not be let's say my requirement is 100 units throughout the day. If I install as per my current policy, 100 units, 20 kilowatt plant, I'll be generating 100 units. But in the evening hours, I have to take it from EB. So whatever I produce in the morning, 100 units, I'll be exporting, let's say 40 units outside. Right? So for 40 units, I'll be getting only 2 rupees. And in the evening time, I'm taking back this 40 units from EB, which means I'm buying at 8 rupees 50 paisa. I'm selling at 2 rupees and I'm buying at 8 rupees. So that's a difference in 6 rupees.
No.
Right? So it will not be wiser, I would say, at this moment. If you're talking about 25 years time, it would be wiser. If you're talking about short period, it will not be wiser. What I'll do, I'll install the plant instead of 100 units. I'll install the plant only for 60 units, because 60 units is my daytime requirement, right?
Okay.
So 60 units I'm saving in the daytime, and 40 units I've never invested on solar. I'll be buying it as usual from EB in the evening.
Sir.
Yes.
சார் காலையில இப்போ ஒரு 20 யூனிட்ஸ் அவுட்டு, ஈவினிங் ஒரு 10 யூனிட்ஸ், 30 யூனிட்ஸ். அப்ப 30 யூனிட்ஸுக்கு அவுட்டுக்கு வந்து யூனிட் ஒரு யூனிட்டுக்கு 2 rupees. அப்ப 60 rupees அப்படித்தானா சார்?
ஆமா. 30 யூனிட்ஸ்
ஈவினிங்க்கு ஏதாவது அட்ஜஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இருக்கா? ஈவினிங் அந்த 5 to 6க்கு ஏதாவது வேற அட்ஜஸ்ட்மெண்ட் ஏதாவது இருக்குதா?
இல்ல சார், ரூஃப் டாப்ஸ்க்கு இல்ல.
கிடையாது. அதாவது அவுட்புட், ஒரு யூனிட் அவுட்புட் கொடுத்தோம்னா 2 ரூபாய் 8 பைசா கொடுக்குறாங்க. நம்ம இது பண்றது அத பகல் வந்து நம்ம எடுத்து போதே எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகும், அப்படித்தானா சார்?
இல்ல, நம்ம பகல்ல அந்த யூனிட் ஜெனரேட் பண்றோம்ல சோலார்ல இருந்து, அதை நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா நம்ம வெளியே எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணல.
அதை எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணல.
So
எடுத்தது போதும் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகுது. எடுத்தது போதும் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகுது.
ஆமா, வெச்ச நம்ம ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ஜெனரேட் பண்றோம். அந்த எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு அந்த டைம்ல அந்த எக்ஸ்போர்ட்ல உட்கார்ந்துடும்.
ஆமா, அந்த எக்ஸ்போர்ட்டுக்கு வந்து எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ற யூனிட்டுக்கு ₹2.8 தர்றாங்க, அவ்வளவுதான். அந்த இயர் எண்ட் இல்லையா, இல்லைன்னா அந்தந்த
பில்ல வந்துடும்.
அந்தந்த பில்லே அட்ஜஸ்ட்மெண்ட் ஆயிரும்.
ஆமா ஆமா. சோ
எடுக்கிறதுக்கு அந்த ₹2.8 கழிச்சுக்கிறோம், அந்தந்த பில்லே பண்ணிடுவாங்க. இயர் எண்ட்லாம் கிடையாது.
அதே பில்ல வந்துடும் சார்.
இயர் எண்ட் சார் இருந்துச்சு, அப்படி கிடையாதா?
என்ன சார்?
முதல்ல வந்து இயர் எண்ட்ல இருந்துச்சு, இயர் எண்ட்ல அட்ஜஸ்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னு
இல்ல
சொன்னாங்க.
இந்த யூனிட் அதே பில்ல வந்துச்சு சார்.
சரி சரி. பழைய மாடலுக்கு இந்த நெட் மீட்டர், பழைய நெட் மீட்டருக்கு as usual தான், பழைய சிஸ்டம்.
யார் முன்னாடி இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணாங்களா அவங்க எல்லாம் லக்கி சார். அவங்க சொல்லுவாங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் யாரை இன்ஸ்டால் பண்றாங்க அவங்க லக்கி இருக்கும். அவங்க நெக்ஸ்ட் 20 இயர்ஸ் அதே பழைய பாலிசில இருப்பாங்க.
பழைய பாலிசில இருப்பாங்க.
சார் இப்ப இந்த பிரைசிங் இருக்குன்னீங்களா, அது வந்து எவ்ரி டே டு டே பேசிஸ் ஆர் ஃபார் த மந்த்லி பில்?
டே டு டே பேசிஸ்ல அந்த எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ரெக்கார்ட் ஆகும். லெட்ஸ் சே இன்னைக்கு நான் 5 யூனிட் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன், நாளைக்கு ஒரு 10 யூனிட் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன். சோ டோட்டலா என் கியூமுலேட்டிவ்ல 15 யூனிட்ஸ் வரும். சோ 60 மந்த்ஸ்ல நம்ம ரீடிங் எடுப்பாங்கல, சோ இம்போர்ட் பண்ற மாதிரி எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஒரு ரீடிங் இருக்கும். நீங்க 60 டேஸ்ல எவ்வளவு எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணீங்க டோட்டல். லெட்ஸ் சே 300 யூனிட் நான் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன் 60 டேஸ்ல. அந்த 300 into ₹2 600 உங்க பில்ல மைனஸ் பண்ணிடுவாங்க.
It is for 60 days they are making the credit and debit.
Yes.
Not daily basis.
Not daily basisல உங்க யூனிட் ரெக்கார்ட் ஆயிடும். பட் ரீடிங் எடுக்கும்போது 60 டேஸ்ல தான் ரீடிங் எடுக்கறாங்க சார் மேனுவலா.
ஓகே. And what is the cut off time sir? ஏனா நைட் 12 o'clock.
அப்படி
இல்ல. அவன் எப்போ வர ரீடிங் ஆக லைன்மேன் வரவல சார் ரீடிங் ஆக, அதான் அந்த டைம்.
இல்ல எவ்ரிடே கிரெடிட் டெபிட் வருது இல்லீங்களா? சோ
இல்ல அது என்ன எப்படி ஆகும்னா சார், அது கியூமுலேட்டிவ் ரீடிங் சார். இப்போ நம்ம இம்போர்ட் பண்றோம்ல சார், ஒரு ரன்னிங் ரீடிங் இருக்கும். லெட்ஸ் சே இந்த மாசோட மீட்டர் இப்போ லைன்மேன் வந்திருக்காரு, லெட்ஸ் சே மீட்டர் 1000 யூனிட்ஸ்ல இருக்கு. ஆஃப்டர் 60 டேஸ் அந்த மீட்டர் 1800 யூனிட்ஸ்ல இருக்கு. சோ லைன்மேன் என்ன பண்ணுவாரு, 1800 மைனஸ் 1000 800 யூனிட்ஸ் நீங்க 60 டேஸ்ல யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க, அதுக்காக பில் போட போறாரு. அதே மாதிரி எக்ஸ்போர்ட்க்கு எவ்வளவு ஆகும், லெட்ஸ் சே ரன்னிங் ரீடிங் 500 யூனிட்ஸ்ல இருக்கு எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ரன்னிங் ரீடிங். ஆஃப்டர் 60 டேஸ் அந்த 500ல இருந்து 700 வந்திருக்கு. சோ 200 யூனிட்ஸ் நான் 60 நாள்ல எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன். சோ அந்த 200 யூனிட்ஸ்க்கு தான் அவங்க பில்ல மைனஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க.
சோ 200 into 2 400 rupees மைனஸ் ஆகும்.
ஆமா.
ஓகே.
அப்புறம் சார் இந்த சிங்கனைசிங் சொன்னீங்க இல்லையா, இந்த சிங்கனைசிங் வந்து பெரிய இதுல எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா பெரிய ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு கமர்ஷியலா போடுறோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். அந்த மாதிரி இது பண்றதுல வந்து சிங்கனைசிங் எப்படி சார், அதாவது இப்போ ஒரு 500 கிலோவாட்டுக்கு ஒரு பண்ணிருப்பாங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, பெரிய மீட்டர் மாட்டிருப்பாங்க. அவங்க வந்து ஒரு ரொம்ப கம்மியா கேட்கறாங்க, ஒரு 25 கிலோவாட் தான் பண்றாங்க. அந்த மீட்டர் மாத்துறதுக்கு நிறைய இதாகும் இல்லையா, அது அந்த டைம்ல வந்து எந்த மாதிரி சார் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும், எந்த மாதிரி அந்த இபிக்கு வந்து அப்ளை பண்ண முடியும் சார்? இப்போ ஒரு 25 கிலோவாட் தான் கேக்குறாங்க, ஆனா அவங்க பெரிய யூனிட் போட்டுருக்காங்க.
சரி இப்போ கேளுங்க, இப்போ 500
அந்த
கிலோவாட்
மீட்டர் மாத்துறதுக்கு அப்படிங்கல நம்ம 25 கிலோவாட்டுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி
முடியாது. அங்க நெட் மீட்டர் அப்ளை பண்ண முடியாது. எனி ஃபேக்டரி more than 100 kilowatt 112 kilowatt LT மீட்டர் தான் நீங்க நெட் மீட்டர் அப்ளை பண்ண முடியும். ஃபேக்டரி 500 கிலோவாட்ல இருந்தா HT ல போய்டும்.
ஆமா, HT ஆயிடும்.
சோ HT ல நெட் மீட்டரிங் இல்ல, கிடையாது, எக்ஸ்போர்ட்டே பண்ண முடியாது. ஓகே. ஃபேக்டரில எப்படினா சார் நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, ஏன்னா ரிக்வயர்மென்ட் அதிகமா இருக்கும் அண்ட் ஸ்பேஸ் கம்மியா இருக்கும். இப்போ நீங்க ஃபேக்டரி சொல்றீங்களா 500 கிலோவாட் ரிக்வயர்மென்ட் இருக்கு, அந்த ஃபேக்டரில பாத்தீங்கன்னா இடம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா அப்ராக்சிமேட்லி 200 கிலோவாட் தான் இருக்கும், ஒரு லிமிட்டேஷன் இருக்கும் ரூஃப்ல. சோ நீங்க 200 யூஸ் போடுங்க, 200 நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ண போறீங்க ஃபேக்டரியில. அது எப்போ வேஸ்டா போகும்னா சண்டே லீவ்.
இல்ல அது பிரச்சனை இல்லை சார். இப்ப நான் கேக்குறது அந்த மீட்டர் மாத்துறப்ப வந்து இப்ப நார்மலா இப்ப நம்ம வீடுகளுக்கு சின்ன மீட்டர் மாத்துறாங்க இல்லையா, அதுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி மீட்டர் மாட்டுவாங்க.
அங்க மீட்டர் மாத்த மாட்டாங்க. அங்க என்ன ஆகும்னா நம்ம நெட் மீட்டர் உண்டு இல்ல, சோ நம்ம மீட்டருக்காக அப்ளை பண்ண மாட்டோம். அங்க ஒரு ஜீரோ எக்ஸ்போர்ட் டிவைஸ் ஒரு இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணுவோம் அடிஷனலா. அந்த டிவைஸ் என்ன ஆகும்னா இப்போ எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகும். எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்போ லென்ஸ் டைம் இருக்கு, சரியா, மஷின்ஸ் எல்லாம் மூடி இருக்கு, ஒன்லி லைட் ஸ்பேன்ஸ் ஆர் வர்க்கிங். சோ அந்த டைம்ல எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகலாம், ஹாலிடேஸ்ல எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகலாம். சோ அந்த ஜீரோ எக்ஸ்போர்ட் டிவைஸ் போனீங்கன்னா தானே அந்த இன்வெர்டர்ல என்ன, அந்த ஜீரோ எக்ஸ்போர்ட் டிவைஸ் அந்த இன்வெர்டர் போயிட்டு சொல்லுவோம், எனக்கு லோடே இல்ல, நீங்க ஜெனரேட் பண்ணாதீங்க, ஏன்னா நான் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்றது அலோவ் பண்ணல. சரி. ஸோ தானா நம்ம ஜென்ரேஷன் கம்மி ஆயிடும், இல்லைன்னா இன்வெர்டர் ஆஃப் ஆயிடும் லோடு
இப்போ
இல்லைன்னா.
மோட்டர் தான் ஓடிக்கு இருக்கும்னே சார். ஓடிக்கு இருக்கிறப்போ வந்து இப்போ ஒரு 10 கிலோவாட் எடுத்துக்கிட்டே இருக்கிறோம். ஆனா ரொம்ப அந்த
ஆமா.
வெளிச்சம் குறைஞ்சிருது. ஆனா 5 கிலோவாட் தான் கிடைக்குது. ஆனா 10 கிலோவாட் நம்ம எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். அதுல வேற சிங்க்ரனைசிங் வேற ஏதாவது பண்ண முடியாதா?
புரியல சார்.
சார் இப்ப 10 கிலோவாட் மோட்டர் ஓடிக்கு இருக்கு சார். அந்த டயத்துல கிளைமேட் மாறியா இருக்குது. 5 கிலோவாட் தான் கிடைக்குது ஆனா ஆக்சுவலா.
ஓகே.
அந்த டைம்ல வந்து அது எப்படி சார் இதாகுது? அப்ப சிங்க்ரனைசிங் இதுல வந்து நெட் மீட்டர் மாட்டிரும், ஈபியோட ஜாயின் பண்ணிரும். அதனால வந்து
இல்ல இங்க கூட
கூடி
நம்ம ஈபில
குறைஞ்சிக்குது.
இருந்து
அதுல
ஜாயின் பண்றோம். கேளுங்க சார், இங்க கூட நம்ம ஈபில இருந்து ஜாயின் பண்றோம் ஃபேக்டரியில. ஈபில
சரி.
இருந்து ஜாயின் பண்றோம்.
ஆ.
என்ன நடக்குதுன்னா பேலன்ஸ் பவர் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலா ஈபில இருந்து வரும்.
ஓகே.
சரியா?
ஓகே.
பாயிண்ட் நம்பர் 1, பேலன்ஸ் பவர் ஈபில இருந்து வரும். பட் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகும்போது அந்த ஜீரோ எக்ஸ்போர்ட் டிவைஸ் will limit the export. சார் ஒரு சின்ன ரிக்வெஸ்ட், இந்த பாயிண்ட் கொஞ்சம் ரொம்ப டெக்னிக்கலா இருக்கு, ஹையர் கெபாசிட்டிஸ்ல இருக்கு. நான் அந்த டைரக்டா கால் பண்ணிட்டு பேசலாம். ஏன்னா மத்த பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் மேபி தமிழ் புரியாது ஆர் they will leave the forum. ஒரு 10-20 minutes நான் நெக்ஸ்ட் டாபிக்ல போறோம். சரியா? Okay, with continuation, obvious reason why should we own a solar plant? It saves electricity bill. We are going to a green technology. It cools your roof. Let's say if you install a plant on your bedroom terrace, let's say you have a bedroom below your terrace, solar panel proposed area, the ambient temperature would come down. It come down by 3 to 4 degrees, which means directly you are decreasing your air conditioner load. So when you start your air conditioner, it shows the ambient temperature, let's say 30-32 degrees, right? So when you have solar panels on the top, it will be 3 degrees or 4 degrees less. So that's a direct advantage. So when you plan, you can also plan on your utility rooms. Now, this is very important when we talk about the payback story. எதுக்கு நம்ம அவ்வளவு பெரிய கெப்பாசிட்டிஸ்ல சோலார் பிளான்ஸ் போடுறாங்க, ஃபேக்டரிஸ், ஸ்கூல்ஸ், டெம்பிள்ஸ் ஏன் போடுறாங்க? ஸோ இது எக்ஸாம்பிள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, திஸ் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இஸ் இந்த புது பாலிசி தான் எடுத்திருக்கோம். அது கூட நம்ம ஸ்கூல் எடுத்திருக்கோம். Suppose 30 kilowatt plant costs around 15 lakhs and it requires around 3,000 square feet area on a school terrace. School doesn't work for 100 days and works only for 265 days. So in the what happens is self-consumption of solar. So in the 30 kilowatt will generate 4.5 units, 8 rupees school tariff or 50 paisa coming, 8 rupees level. Into 265 working days, you are saving around 2.8 lakhs per year. And when you don't work in 100 days, இது 2 rupees 28 paisa நாங்க போட்டிருக்கோம், which is now 2 rupees 8 paisa. Last year it was around 2 rupees 28 paisa. Now it has come down to 2 rupees 8 paisa. So 30,000 rupees நம்ம எக்ஸ்போர்ட்ல சேவ் பண்றோம், ரைட்டா? So overall இந்த ரெண்டும் ஆட் பண்ணோம், when we total savings per year will be 3.1 lakh per year. 3.1 lakh per year. So 3.1 lakhs will be my energy saving from this plant of 30 kilowatt. So in 5 years, I'll be saving some around 15.85 lakhs in 5 years. So my investment is 15 lakhs, and in 5 years, I'll be getting 15.8 lakhs, or let's say close to 16 lakhs. So the payback is 5 years. For application like schools, which doesn't work for 100 days, and the tariff is also 50 paisa less. So for commercial, the payback will be much faster because you work for 365 days or 300 days, and your tariff is 8 rupees 50 paisa. Okay, now for government is also giving a relief in tax for commercial usage. So if I'm using for hospital, if I'm using for factories, if I'm using for mall, I get a depreciated benefit of 40% for installing a solar power plant, which is like in the 30 lakhs, for 30 kilowatt plant, when I invest 15 lakhs, I directly save 3.5 lakhs in my income tax saving. So that's called AD, accelerated depreciation. So means instead of paying 10 lakhs as my income tax, I'll be paying around 6.5 lakhs. I have saved 3.5 lakhs on my income tax just because I've installed a solar plant. So what happens now? So for my net investment on the plant becomes 11.5 lakhs for commercial places. So my savings in 5 years becomes, as we see, 15.8 lakhs in 5 years. When I take this depreciation benefit, the return on investment is 28%, which means less than 4 years is my recovery time. So within 4 years for a commercial building, I recover my money, and post that the plant becomes free, right? Now, you can ask me one question. So what about the interest on the investment. Now, when we invest 15 lakhs, we have to borrow this money. It's just an ideal scenario. So what I would say is, you're borrowing at 10%, still you are saving 28%. So net profit is 18%. Or your EB tariff may increase. Today is 8 rupees 50 paisa. After 6 years, it will be definitely more than 10 rupees. So all the calculations are 8.5 rupees. So your interest will take care of your inflation in EB bills. So at any point of time, the worst case like school, payback is 5 years, and for commercial, it's less than 4 years. Same thing, I have made it to the table for easy understanding of depreciation year 1, depreciation year 2, depreciation year 3, and the overall benefit. So the net investment becomes 11.5 lakhs. And then what I have done is, let's take an 50 paisa increase in EB rate every year, only 50 paisa, which means after 6 years, the EB rate will be only 11 rupees, which is highly impossible. The way the petrol prices are going up, it's almost 90 plus now, right? It was around 60, 65, it is 90 plus now. So we can't assume that your EB power after 6 years will be 11 rupees. It could be more, it could be 15, 20 rupees also. But let's be a pessimistic. So if I take 50 paisa increase every year in your electricity bill savings, so in 6 years, you will be saving around 25 lakhs. Right? In 6 years, we'll be saving around 25 lakhs against an effective investment of 11.5 lakhs. Okay. Now, which is the best investment in market now? So it could be gold, silver, property, shares, or fixed deposit. Can anybody quickly write in the chat box? Thank you. Okay, I'm not getting the gentleman's name. 32597. Okay, shares, gold. I don't understand. Okay, gold. Okay. As Mr. Kailash said, shares. Yes, I would totally agree. If you have invested in last 1 year, in the post last year's pandemic and today's this thing, you would have made a big money in shares. This thing. Okay. So what happened with the fixed deposit? The interest rates have come down. But unlike all this investment options, solar is one of the fixed investment options where your returns are fixed because it's your own building. You are going to use the power, and it's a proven record that will be saving every year a substantial amount. Savings is fixed. There's no ups and downs in the saving. One important thing is, as the fixed deposit rates have come down, now it has become around 5% or 6% in the fixed deposit, not even 7%. Let's say I 10 kilowatt plant would cost around 5.3 lakhs. And if I put 5.3 lakhs in, let's say I have excess money, should I put in FD for safer returns or should I invest in solar plant? This answers you. So my FD returns of 5 lakhs will give me 25 lakhs in 25 years, right? 25 lakhs in 25 years. If I invest in solar, it will yield me 45 lakhs, which is 2 times more than my fixed deposit. So if you have your own building, if you have your own property, own usage and terrace area, then you could always look in as solar as one of the options, which will give you much better returns than your fixed deposits. So utilize your free space with to generate your own power and as an investment. Now, with respect to EB bills, now somebody have asked me, how do I read my EB bills, right? How do I check how many units I've used? It's very simple. Everybody is paying online EB bills now. So online EB bills will be having all these parameters. You can check the number of phases. You can check the sanction load. What is the tariff I'm paying? For residential, the tariff is different. For commercial, the tariff is different. Whether I'm in HT or LT. And also I can check my average monthly units. The most important thing is I have to check my average monthly units. So there are 2 types of bill. One is bi-monthly. For residences, it's bi-monthly bills. For small offices, it's bi-monthly. Once in 60 days, your bills will be coming. But for big commercial places, we will be having monthly bills because for better revenue or cash flow in the TNEB department. So this is a monthly bill. If you see this monthly bill, see post 2009, pre-2019, they were paying a bill of around 50,000, 60,000, 45,000 at the bottom. Okay, the plant was installed in the old net metering policy. So I can see my consumed units over here on a monthly basis. I can see. So this is how I have to find out my average. So I'll take last 1 year reading, last 12 months reading, because this 12 months will capture winter, summer. In winter, our usage is less, in specific for residences, because we use less ACs in winter. And in summer, our usage will be double or triple in some houses. And in lockdown, it will be 4 times high, because everybody will be at home. And unfortunately, both the lockdowns have come in the peak summer. So the EV bills will drastically go high. So how do I find out my average unit? So in case of a monthly, take the monthly average, or in case of bi-monthly, take the bi-monthly average of your last. In bi-monthly, take last 6 readings. Last 6 readings. In monthly, take last 12 readings. Divide that number by number of working days, because your office working days will be not 30 days. It will be 26 days if your Sundays or holidays, 4 Sundays or holidays. Okay, divide by number of working days. In case of residents, or divide by 60 days. And then you divide that by 4 units or 4.5 based on the technology. If you're going with the monopark technology, you can divide by 5. If you're going with the normal panels, normal installation, you can divide by 4. For easy calculation, you can divide by 4. So that will be a plant size. That will be a plant size, very simple. Let's say, for example, I consume around 1,000, let's say I consume around 3,000 units for my office monthly bill. So 3,000 units divided by 30 days. 30 working days. So that becomes 100 units per day, right? 100 units per day. 100 divided by 4, that becomes 25. So 25 kilowatt is my requirement. Point number 1. Point number 2, in the current net metering policy, which is called net feed-in, what I will do, once the fed, so I know this is my requirement, 25 kilowatt, but I know my net metering policy is not allowing for my night usage. So I should know what will be my approximate percentage daytime load. It could be 50%, it could be 30% based on your utility. If it's an office, it could be high or same. Let's say if in an office, then I'll do 80% of 25 kilowatt plant. I'll install a 20 kilowatt plant just to avoid that excess export. If it's a residence, I'll take only 40%, because 40% is consumed in the daytime and 60% is consumed in the night time. So I'll plan for 40% only. Right? But then the third easiest way to find out this is just take an average unit, record your on the AV meter, uh, take the reading at around 8 o'clock and take the reading at around 6 o'clock in the evening. Do it for 3 days. You will get the average units per day. Average units per day. That you divide by 4, you will get the plant size. Right. So let's say I get a plant size of around 5 kilowatt for my residence. 5 kilowatt. Okay. Now next thing what I have to check is the area available on the terrace. For 5, I need around at least 350 to 400 square feet terrace area. Then I go to my terrace and check whether I have 400 square feet or not. If I have sufficient, more than enough, so I'll put my 5 kilowatt. Let's say I don't have, then I'll debate what kind of technology should I go. Should I go with the most efficient panel, monopark, or I could go with the average panels? Based on that, you can take a call. Okay. Now the best thing is all your savings, right? I've shared your bill, which the plant was installed in 2018 or late 2018. Now this is a school in Chengalpet, and the EB bills have come down from 50,000 to 5,000 rupees. 5,000 rupees is the fixed cost what you're paying. So straight away your savings will be showcased in your EB bills, because once you install a plant of such a big investment, are we getting the results? Yes. One straight away answer is you can check your EB bills. Check last people who have installed a solar plant around 2-3 years back, and you can check your EB bills. You can see substantial amount of savings. And then you also have remote monitoring for this on-grid power plants. Let's say I've installed a plant. I would like to know how much I'm generating per day. So this solar plants, we have an app for Android and iOS. We have an app for the solar generation. You can check the daily generation. You can check your monthly generation every day, how much I have generated, whether there was a power cut or not, whether there's a cloud, this thing, how much I'm generating. So when we say 4 units per day, 4.5 units per day, that's an average of the year, right? Average of the year. So in summer, we'll be generating more. In monsoon, we'll be generating less. Your average, your performance will be less than the average, but in your summer, it will be much more. So all put together for 365 days, we are talking about this average number, which can be considered as 4.5 units. So by installing this remote monitoring app, you can check your performance, check your generation. If the sunlight is good and you feel that there is a fall in generation, then you can easily check the dust level on the solar panels, and it would remind time for cleaning, right? So that is one easy example. And now most of the topics we have covered now. Now we also have a YouTube channel where all my technical recordings, we never spoke about the technical aspects today because keeping the forum to be end users forum. So we didn't talk about the wattage, VA, and current. So if anybody, if people, participants who are more interested in starting a solar business or in pursuing a career in solar industry, in solar industry, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Creative Eco Solutions, and you can find all this academic related videos with the presentations. And also we have customers feedback, performance. We have demonstration of the entire villa running on a solar power plant with batteries, including ACs. So that could be done. Now, the third most, so we'll be closing the section in next 10 minutes. Fine. So sticking to the time. The next important provision, what you have to do is for the solar water heaters, right? So most of us not focus on the solar water heaters. Now I'll tell you, the solar water heaters should be planned for any upcoming building. If the building is under construction stage, kindly plan for solar water heater. If you're using geysers in your bathroom or you want hot water for bathing and cooking, the simple reason is, let's say I have a 5 BHK house and I'll be having 5 BHK means I'll be having 6 toilets or 6 toilets or 6 bathrooms. And I'll be putting at least 5 geysers. 5 geysers, let's say 20-liter geysers will cost me around 8,000 rupees. 8,000 into 5, 40,000 rupees I have to spend on my electricity geysers. 40,000 rupees. And then I have to pay my electricity bill for the geysers every month. It will be coming on the bill. So let's say I use only 20 minutes one geyser. So 5 geysers, 5 into 20, I'll be using for at least 100 minutes. 100 minutes is close to around 1.5 hours. I'll be using geysers. So each geyser, when you use it for around 300 days in a year, each geyser in your house will consume around 4,000 rupees electricity. Each geyser. So 5 geysers, 5 into 4, 20,000 rupees will be paying your electricity cost against your heaters. Which means in the first year, I'm spending 20,000 rupees on my electricity cost, plus I'm buying the geysers in my bathroom, which is around 40,000 rupees, the initial investment. So 40 plus 20 becomes 60,000. And the second year, I have to again pay for my electricity bill, again 20,000. So this is a running expense, right? Now, if you install a solar water heater, can you imagine what will be the cost of a solar water heater? Let's say 5 BHK. 5 BHK will have around 10 members. 10 members, let's say 10 members in the house, or let's say if I go with the 200 liters. 200 liters water heater, the cost of the 200 water heater is around 40,000 rupees. The cost of solar water heater is almost equal to your cost of buying geysers in the bathroom. Plus, we'll be saving 20,000 rupees per year on your electricity bills. But you have to make some provisions during the construction stage. You have to make hot water pipeline inside your building. Let's say if you're building a new house, again, you have to plan for a solar water heater space near your overhead tank. From the overhead tank, the water has to flow to your solar water heaters. And the water heater tubes will be placed where we have good amount of sunlight. And then we have to plan for a hot water line, the CPVC pipe from the output of the solar water heater to the respective bathrooms. And nowadays, many people are talking about hot water for dishwashers, hot water for washing machines. So that's the next trend which is coming up. So the increase of hot water usage have increased. So when you use hot water for washing your clothes, the efficiency of washing machine or the performance is better in terms of cleaning. Same thing for the dishwasher. So idle application, and you can also use it for cooking. Preheated water. So by standard, this comes with 5 years warranty. Most of the manufacturers gives you with 5 years warranty, and the average life of this product would be around 10 to 15 years based on the quality you buy. much cheaper than the solar power plants. So the major applications for these are highly used in hotels, mansions, hostels, and any individual residents will a newly constructed house will like to have this. What happens for the existing houses? It becomes challenging to make the hot water line. Let's say if it's a 5 years, 10 years old house, and you're not planned for the hot water line, then you have to chip the wall, break the tiles, take the pipe inside your bathroom. It is possible, but we have to do a lot of rework within your building. So that can be also explored, and can be. We have done couple of not couple. We have done around 10 plus houses where we have done rework the piping for them. And but by default, any new constructions, please plan for hot water. Okay. Now, so most of the things are covered. Now I'll go to the few questions, and then we'll end the session in 5 minutes. And with respect to us, so we provide end-to-end solutions. Creative Eco Solutions provide end-to-end solutions from design, consultancy, concept. So there are few projects where the building would take 3 years to come up, or it may take around 4 years based on the size of the building. Most of the houses, when we design a solar plan for an upcoming house, it could take 2 years for Grah Pravesh. So what we do, we make the building ready, we make the building ready with electrical, mechanical, space planning, civil works, so space for the inverter battery, the location, wardrobes, everything. So that when you do your Grah Pravesh, or before you enter your house, 1 month before that, we'll install the entire equipment for you. So what happens, the warranty would start from that year. So instead of losing 1 year, 2 years warranty, the warranty will start after 2 years when you actually moving or start using the product. So this is how we approach the new constructions. And then we also do energy management for factories, and we also do with lithium batteries for the storage applications. Now I'll go to the questions. And we are channel partners for big corporate brands like Hycon, like Swellet, all are Indian companies. So when we talk about warranty, the warranty is given by manufacturer, but we choose the best in the industry. Let's say when we talk about Hycon is one of the best in lithium batteries and solar water heaters. Swellet, which is ex-Numeric, the solar division of Numeric, which are the leading manufacturers of UPS in India, have a solar division called Swellet and HHV solar panels. And they manufacture these panels in Bangalore, and these are top 4 brands in India. And they are doing this business for last 20 years. They are manufacturing panels for last 20 years. So that's the reason we bet on these Indian companies, good Indian companies than the Chinese companies. And obviously, we have the service centers of these companies based out of Chennai, based out of Coimbatore, based out of Kerala. So being a pan-India brand, so they'll be having the service center so that we can get this passed and serviced, and so warranty would be covered. That is the most important thing by choosing a brand. Fine. So I'll quickly answer to the questions in the chat box. And in meantime, if anybody has a question, can unmute and talk.
Sir, you said the space should be south facing.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that? So there should be panel should be installed on the southern side or north side?
Okay. The solar panels have to be facing south, which means we will be having a tilt. The solar panels will be installed at 15 degrees tilt facing south. The north part will be up, the south part will be down. You can see my hand, right? The lower part is south, the upper part is north. The north will be at the back, south will be in the front. Because we are living in the northern hemisphere, the sun travels from east to west on the south side. So throughout the day, we'll be having ample sunlight on the south side.
So the downside should be on the south.
South, yes. And the angle of inclination or the tilt should be 15 degrees for Chennai. If you're from Kanyakumari, it will be 10 degrees. If you're from Bombay, it will be 25 degrees.
So in Chennai, it is 30 degrees.
13, 13.
13. Okay.
So basically, latitude of that place, sir. It's completely a science, latitude of that place.
So the downside should be facing the south.
Yes.
Okay, you mean that, not that the location of the panels. It is not the location of panel.
Not the location of the panels. Yes. So when I say facing the south, obviously in front of the solar panel there should be no obstruction or no buildings.
In front of the?
In front of the solar panels, on the south side, there should be no obstruction. There should be no neighboring buildings.
No neighboring building. Okay.
Otherwise, we'll have the shadow of that building falling on the solar panels.
The shadow of the building will be there. Otherwise, we have to avoid the shadow, isn't it?
Yes, we have to avoid the shadow. Mr. Bharat has asked a question. What about the service-related issues? Now, with respect to on-grid power plant, we have two major components. One is the solar panels, one is the on-grid inverter. The solar panels comes with 25 years warranty. And I have seen panels in my career, like 12 years, we have installed almost zero failures. And we have seen plants which are more than 25 years old. That's a Brahma Rishi Ashram in Annanagar. BHEL have installed a solar plant 30 years back, and the panels are still working. They just got the inverter changed after so many years. So panels will work easily, and we talk on the warranty from a good manufacturer. With respect to on-grid inverters, again, different manufacturers have 5 years, 7 years, and 10 years warranty based on the product you buy. And all these are on-site warranty. So in the warranty, everything is covered, and post-warranty after 7 years, you can sign an extended warranty support from this company, like how you do for your washing machine, for your TV. But typically, the life is beyond what we are talking about the warranty. And with respect to solar water heaters is concerned, one specific challenge will be, or this thing for solar water heaters, it's very important to test your water quality, the TDS level of the water. What happens is today we'll be having a TDS of around, let's say, 300 ppm or 400 ppm. After 4 years down the line, your water quality will be much harder, right? It could become 1000 ppm or 800 ppm. So that will be more prone for corrosion. So, but the technology has changed. If you go for solar water heaters, there are specific brands which can withstand TDS to 2000 ppm, which means like any kind of hot water I can withstand, and they give you a warranty for that. So there is no problem in that. And also solar water heaters, the companies provide on-site warranty for the equipment. So hardly anything to change or replace. What is the efficiency of solar water heater? Okay, Mr. Giridhar has asked. See, with respect to the efficiency, I would say, sir, let's say you're a family of 8 members. To calculate the size of the solar water heater, calculate around 30 liters per person. 30 liters per person. So 30 into 8, around 240 liters will be your requirement. So in 240 liters of a solar water heater, which is going to cost you somewhere around 35,000 in 240 liters, all the 8 members in the family can take one-time hot water bath easily. In case if there's a monsoon, or in case if there's more number of guests have come, let's say 5 people have come, you have an option of called hybrid, where you can insert an active heating rod inside your solar water heater, and that can be used only during those cases, like when you have more guests, or during monsoon time when you need hot water, because sunlight will not be there. Let's say in Chennai, it will be around 10 days in a year where you'll have bad monsoons. During that time, you can switch on the electricity heater. So the water will be heated by electricity for those times. So basically, the solar water heater is for all seasons. Any other questions, sir? Anybody else?
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
So the cost is simply at the rate of 80,000 rupees per kilowatt, or when you increase the kilowatt, probably the cost of the unit cost will come down.
Yes. As I said, if you are talking about 1 kilowatt on-grid system, it will be around 80,000 rupees, which is very costly. Let's say if you're talking about 10 kilowatt solar plant, it will be somewhere around 55,000 rupees per kilowatt. From so 80, it has come down to 55.
Supposing it is 5 kV,
5 kVA somewhere it will be around 62 to 65,000 per kilowatt.
so as we increase the load, there will be some reduction.
Yes.
Okay.
Fine. So we'll end the session here now. So I thank all the participants who have joined us in the first session and the second session for patiently listening to us, and hope we have shared a good knowledge on the solar aspects. We spoke about solar off-grid, on-grid, government policies of solar or CMD approvals, and then we spoke about the net feed-in policy of Tamil Nadu. Then we also spoke about the provisions to be made for the new constructions. What kind of wiring, piping, plumbing lines have to be done at what stage. And then we spoke about the on-grid power plants where it is commercially used, the investment aspects of on-grid power plants. Is it feasible? We also spoke on the ROIs to return on investments. So the thumb rule is around within 5 years you will get your payback for on-grid power plant. And then we spoke on solar water heaters, which are much more efficient and more cost benefit. So in Karnataka, if you see, solar water heater is compulsory. Every house under construction should plan for water heater. Then only they will get the EV meter. So, and Karnataka is a climate where you need hot water. It's mandatory. So every house has that, and the cost of the product is also lesser than the diesel's price. So in this thing, and if you still have any further questions, you can write an email to me. Hope everybody would have got a registered mail from our side. You can write email to me, or you can WhatsApp me at 875-4477-217. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channels for all the technical information. And I would love, we would love your feedback on our Google page, that so that in the next session more participants could join. And then any other questions? Thank you, sir. Anybody would like to give a feedback on today's session, and then we'll close. Anyone, Mr. Giridhar, Mr. Srinivas?
Yeah, it is very useful.
Yeah,
I had some
this
idea,
is
but I have got a now better
your
clarity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Srinivas. Yes, Mr. Giridhar.
actually you have almost narrated everything from the installation to the its effectiveness and its efficiency, and also how the panels to be selected, and all also you have explained. It's a very nice explanation. It is very useful to the entrepreneurs and then those who want to install. Have much experience, much benefited about this. So I can also associate it with you if you permit me to join.
Yes,
way, that is why I shared my email ID. I'm since I'm having a vast experience in the electrical field, I don't want to waste my time. So I want to associate something with you, like people with you, regarding renewable energy, particularly, and energy conservation type. So in that,
Fine, so sure. We will discuss online. So we'll do one-to-one discussions on this. Yes. So the whole idea of this presentation was to make it simple, not any technical jargons, so that any common person and end user can understand why should I go for solar and why should not I go for solar. When I said you can't go for solar for your 24/7 requirement, you can't. You have to go only for your daytime requirement in case of on-grid power plants. And instead of installing a normal inverter battery or a generator, you can go for an off-grid system where you will still get a better ROI. Fine, sir. So we'll end the session.
Yes, fine, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I would request we would pray for all your good health, and for your family. Please get vaccinated fast. Be safe. Stay at home. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.